Welcome to Offset, Larry and the Big Man. That's Jay Caufield, two-time Stanley Cup champion and Sportsnet hockey analyst. I'm Larry Richert from KDK Radio, and this is Dave Ricchini. He is our Nostradamus of the numbers and a producer. He cannot shake that role in his life. We appreciate that, Dave. We really do. We want to thank One Team Media, Brian Hess and his team, Mark Coddington, producing this episode, and from Odyssey Pittsburgh, Michael Spacciapoli.
Also Dave Rourke with the Rourke Automotive Group and Tom Grillish with Henderson Brothers. Thank you both for being title sponsors for our podcast. We appreciate it. Thank you.
We do, and thank you. We are growing exponentially, and we appreciate that. There has been so much that has transpired in the last week in sports. Nothing bigger in this town than after the loss against the Texans on Monday night, which seems like forever ago. Mike Tomlin resigns. The search has been underway. We don't know who the Steelers are going to get, but I know this, guys, no matter when that happens, this individual will be the most scrutinized human being in Pittsburgh history, right?
That's true.
Forget about the mayor, even the governor, or anybody else. Whoever that person is going to get the full court press.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think we all felt like when you went from, it's amazing about sports just in general, right? You go from 1 week to the next, the joy that was with beating Baltimore, then you come in and it doesn't go your way against Houston, and then everything falls apart, right? And it's miserable, right? That's what happens, right? It's the way it goes. And then the resignation of Mike Tomlin. It's funny how you go I think for all the years and all the things about not a losing record and all that goes with that, I still think like there's like a shelf life for every coach in a game in any sport. And I think it's amazing to have a run like that and do that. But I still think I'm always surprised a little bit. I'm going to go off for 1 second. I'm always a little surprised when you hear guys go, yeah, you're winning. But I always thought if you probably polled players, we're not even talking about this topic, and you said, hey, would you rather you want to have 20 winning seasons, or would you rather have 3 Super Bowls or 15 playoff appearances and so on and so forth? Without knowing who the coach is, I think most guys would answer that and go, yeah, we want playoff runs and we want eventually championships if you're lucky enough. The way the answer is always about this is that you never lost and it's hard to find that. And that part I do believe, but I always thought the ultimate goal was to get your team into the playoffs and go from there and have a run in the playoffs. And so I can see that's why I feel like a shelf life. Things move on, and so many other coaches too, by the way. But Mike Tomlin did an outstanding job here, and to be that way, he's a staple for what this was all about. But I was just giving you my one little point about that is I felt that most players, if you didn't have Tomlin's face to this title, this story, their guys are playing for championships. That's what the whole thing is about, not just whether you end up with a winning record on every given season and don't do anything with that. And that's maybe against the grain, but that's how I feel. That's looked at each and every year when we come to training camp. And you're not just saying, hey, let's have a winning record. It's a winning record and go long in the playoffs. So
I was surprised that the way it transpired, the Tuesday after the season. And kudos to him, too, because, I mean, you hear about Black Monday when the coaches are fired. He wasn't fired. He stepped down. And to announce it that soon after the season set them up in a good spot to be able to get into their coaching search right away. So surprised, but I think he handled it the right way. Oh. And I think I agree with you, Jay, about the playoff stuff. I mean, that's what he's going to the 19 seasons, no losing record, but they're going to keep going back to the playoff record where he was 8-12. And you look, 19 seasons, 14 of those, he had Ben Roethlisberger for the majority of those games. There was one season where Ben was hurt most of the year. So 15 of his 19 years, he had Ben Roethlisberger, and they won 1 Super Bowl with him. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's what, when they look back on it and his difficulties in the playoffs, I think they're going to point to the lack of championships.
Well, look what happened in Buffalo. I mean, to a lot of people, that was a shocker. They fire their coach, and they really, and we'll probably get into that later, they really should have won that game. Yeah. They certainly had the opportunity against Denver. It wasn't like they got blown out. They had a legitimate chance to win that game. Josh Allen got them that far. So what do? You fire the coach.
So didn't something go on this year with first of all, the general manager, not only do they do that, but they promote the GM, right? He moved up, which I think a lot of people have. I have more of a problem with that. So there was, I forget the transaction that happened this year that he was unhappy with the GM for they lost a player. I forget what it was. That it was there was a D-back that they exposed because they were picking up a guy that ended up not playing for him. Dave?
Well, they picked up Darius Slay.
So that was but right.
And then they waived somebody that he got claimed by the
right. He went somewhere else. But the guy they waived was a guy that was supposedly a project for that, and so I think they butted heads with that.
So it's more internal. Sean McDermott, I thought, is a good football coach. He'll find another place to coach, but you're leaving Josh Allen, hard to get an MVP quarterback, just like Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. You got an MVP quarterback. Who's going to coach?
Great running back.
This is like
great running back.
Yeah, and how about at one point a third of the NFL's teams change coaches? We're still in the process, obviously, but that's remarkable to me.
Yeah, that is to me too. I mean, that it happens. I think everybody waits for that Monday after the games end, right, to see who gets. You know, people want to see who gets the axe on the end of the regular season. The first
Don't they
Monday.
Have a prop bet for that?
They probably do, Larry. They should. Dave, you find that for us. But you know what? I think also I will say this: what my comments I made about the run of a playoff. I was saying if you take personality out of it and you look at what's in front of you, what is your ultimate goal every year? And it's to win a championship if you have the talent and skill level there. And I think it's wild for me that Tomlin, Harbaugh, and now what just happened in Buffalo. I mean, names that have been there, but I've also thought even when we're talking about the hockey world, man, truthfully, the meter is running as soon as you sign the contract that you're the coach, and it has a shelf life. The message gets lost. Well, with the turnover in a football roster, it might be different. Maybe it's a little different. I do think that he has the players have his back. So many players and the respect that he has from all his players, that's something that you don't get everywhere, right? And so he has something that's something so unique. But
Art Rooney II said it was more of a family decision than a football decision, according to Mike Tomlin. So it doesn't sound like he's coming back to coach anytime soon.
You imagine think about the team. Well, we know that. Like, what if now he said, "Well, Buffalo got freed up," or
he could.
Or think of the other.
He could write his own. I believe that a number of those teams would take it.
Yeah, we will get into this like even throughout the week. Like it is amazing, Larry. Though, like you said, a third of positions were available.
And real quick on that point, I think that you look at some of the success that the first and second year coaches are having. I think that's why teams are more willing to move on. Mike Vrabel in New England, Sean Payton in Denver, Mike McDonald in Seattle, Ben Johnson in Chicago. These are first and second year coaches that are still in the playoffs.
And I think Vrabel now is the longest.
He's only different. Vrabel's
coach I'm saying in their division.
Yeah, he was hired before what's his name in New York.
Yeah. What's his name in New York?
Hey, Dave. Hey, this.
He still has his job, doesn't he?
For now.
How about Belichick's name popping up for Buffalo? Did you hear that? Belichick to come back to Buffalo? I mean, no.
That's what his girlfriend moved to Buffalo, though. Can you do yoga in Buffalo?
Only 6 months a year.
Yeah.
All right.
You want anything? Snow belt? No.
College football's national championship game was a heavyweight fight. Turned out to be a home game for the 10th seed Miami Hurricanes against the number 1 seed. I watched to the end. You really didn't know if Miami was able to pull that out, down by 6, driving under a minute, had a chance. And, Carson Beck throws an interception and game over. But they were in the game. Even at times where it looked like they weren't going to be in the game, they battled back.
I thought it was a great game. I mean, listen, I caught with the Penguins. There was a Penguins game the other night, and coming back to watch this game, and I was getting texts from a lot of people and saying that was kind of a snoozer the first half a little bit. Then you get there in the second half, completely different, right?
Yeah.
And I think the 2 running backs that they have for Indiana, they were ones that they would I think they were demoralizing the Miami D, right, at times, right? So they just ran hard, and that leads to everything else. I thought it was a great game, and certainly the player, the Heisman Trophy winner, and he gets the – I mean, it played itself out.
In his hometown with his parents, who are alumni of Miami. His dad's on the Hall of Fame rowing team.
Did he not come? Did he not even? Didn't he say when he was being interviewed at the end of the night that he
wasn't even offered a walk?
Wasn't a walk on in Miami.
Yeah.
Who was the coach then in Miami then?
It was before Cristobal, so
I'd have to look.
Yeah, but it was kind of wild. It was interesting you said that. That's kind of the ties to it is amazing. Yep, great game. Great, great finish.
It finished well in terms of fan interest because Miami just kept coming back like Freddy Krueger, and they had a chance. They had a legitimate chance.
So we have a turning point. What's your turning point?
What was the turning point in the game, Dave?
For me, it was like I thought, watching the game, Miami was out of it in the first half. You thought even a 10-point deficit, Indiana getting the ball, and then they had the long touchdown run to pull within 3. But I thought the drive in the fourth quarter when Indiana went forward on fourth down twice. Yes, the touchdown run by Mendoza was the key play, but even the pass to Charlie Becker, you watch the game, there was no separation by the wide receivers of either team. And I'll give the refs credit. They were letting them play. There were some plays where you could see some tugging and, maybe could have been pass interference. They were letting them play. But I thought the pass to Charlie Becker, you could see who Mendoza trusted.
Yeah.
If he needed a play, he was throwing it up to Becker.
He didn't have a drop all season.
Crazy. And they were contested catches.
Yeah, no.
So I think the 2 fourth down, because they're not a team that went for it on fourth down a lot in the season.
Okay, I'm going to go with, which there's a stupid rule in this that why this even is a possibility, but my turning point was Xavier Lucas getting back into the game. The cornerback, the D-back. They allowed him to play the second half, we'll talk about that rule, which he was suspended for the first half of the game.
That's right.
When he came back into the game, their defense was completely different than what the first half was. And I know I'm going out on a limb. I'm not going to be like Dave and pick one play. I'm going to pick a player that I think made a difference. I think this Lucas, when he got
back, they lost the game.
Yeah, they lost the game. I don't care. He still made it a game. Otherwise, we wouldn't be wanting to even talk about it. It was a bad game.
I like it.
I thought
second half was a game, and it could have gone. And there's a number of ways. That's one of I wrote down a number of things, and certainly the touchdown run that he had and all that kind of stuff. But I just think that player coming back into the game made everybody say it's a classic now. They weren't saying that before. They were trying to find some way to have this game be any good at all, because literally that's what the second half was going to be like. But if Indiana scores right away, their defense was different after you got back in the game.
It wasn't a laugher, like some of those.
It had a chance to be.
It could have been.
Yep.
But I thought the turning point was the blocked punt, touchdown, Hoosiers. I thought at that point it might get out of hand, but to Miami's credit, they didn't allow it to get out of hand. But think of the Pittsburgh connections, too, to this game. You saw before the game Mark Cuban, who is funding the NIL for Indiana. And they have apparently a $21.2 million budget. You got Kurt Cignetti, who's got a direct Pittsburgh connection. Pitt, IUP, his dad Frank's a Hall of Fame coach. And then you had Dan Marino there.
Yeah.
You had all these Pittsburgh people. Pat McAfee was there. And I thought, you cannot do anything in this country and not have the Pittsburgh influence.
Even Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator for Indiana.
Yes.
Norwin played at Pitt.
And Jason Taylor.
He's coach in Miami. Yeah.
He's coach, assistant coach in Miami. It was just amazing to me. I wanted to make sure we reference that with you guys, that the Pittsburgh connections in all of this stuff are,
by the way,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it is Pittsburgh. Just it has that. There's something about it with Pittsburgh. I agree. I was just going to say, how many phone calls do you think Kurt Cignetti got today? You don't think any of his teams contacted his people?
Kurt, congratulations. Do you have any
the NFL teams?
Yeah, NFL teams
coming to the NFL. You don't have to deal with NIL.
Yeah, because it's a nightmare. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
He didn't get the job till he was 62, and some people.
I'm just saying. I know he doesn't want to leave. That doesn't mean he's promoting. I'm just saying.
You got to ask.
You got to ask. Whatever teams, whatever vacancies are left, Should have made a call to
By
him.
the way, Mark Richt would have been the coach at Miami.
Mark Richt, there we go. Wouldn't even let him.
Very good.
Very good, Dave. That way, big man. Wouldn't even let him walk on. And how good was Miami? How good has Miami been until this is their like little return here, right?
There's Cristobal. I mean, if they hadn't turned it around,
Yeah.
I mean, they lost a couple games. He could have been fired this year.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild. I love how he brought that up though last night in the post game.
He also swore, which was the most unexpected thing of the entire game, when Mendoza swore in the post-game press conference. And somebody brought this up, I saw online, that he said the Tom Brady phrase, "Let's effing go." And who has the first pick in the draft? The Raiders.
Yeah.
Who's associated with the Raiders? Tom Brady. So
Boy,
he was there.
You talk about celebrities there. The president was there. You had Tom Brady there. You had the owner of the Raiders. Did you ever see him with his bowl haircut?
Oh, I know.
They said they're all looking at Mendoza like, well, the Raiders are going to have a shot, right?
Yeah, first
Boy,
pick.
there's a few bad passes and people are saying, hey, he doesn't want to go to the Raiders. He's trying to tell him, I don't want to go there. Imagine you are the pick. You're this top pick, which he seems like he's going to do. He's going to honor whatever. But you're looking at what a team has or where you're going to go to.
Well, you remember back in the day, John Elway said, I'm not going to the Colts were the team with the first
Eli
Manning. Eli Manning.
John Elway was the first to do it, though.
Yeah.
And then Eli.
He was the first.
Yeah.
And then
Eric Lindros did it in hockey.
Marino, I remember that.
Yep.
Marino was picked 6th in that first round of the quarterbacks available. But his dad, my late father-in-law, had a really wise way of dealing with the world. And he said, look, you're going to get picked. And the further you drop in the first round, the better team you're going to be on. You're not going to have to start from scratch. You're going to be on a team that wants you.
So
And, they went to the Super Bowl the next year.
That's what I'm saying. I totally agree with that. I mean, it's a great way to come back and think of what might be disappointing at the time, and you turn around and look at it and go, it's the best thing that ever happened. Because I don't know who wants to go to the Raiders. I don't know who wants to go to the Jets. I don't think about it. Who would you really? I mean, if you have the chance to pick and choose, or you can dictate, now would be the time to do it. Because man, that's tough. But they're all part of something that's probably never. I don't know if anybody can match what Curt Cignetti did in that. If it's something we can talk further another time too. But I think what he did, it was amazing. And that's what I said. How does NFL teams, how can he duplicate what just took place?
Yeah.
That's what I said. NFL teams knock on your door, whatever. But it was great. It's a great story.
But what a, when you celebrity focused, I mean, it was ended up being a good game.
And Nick Saban even talked about, quoted Dan. I forget the quote. He quoted Dan last night in his halftime show.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we have to pull Dave. Maybe Dave can pull up Nick Saban's quote about Dan Marino. Yeah. Because, like I said, I am the only guy, by the way, Dave did point out, I am the only guy that picked the turning point with the losing team. But I'm saying, would we be talking about this game? Would it go down in everybody's memory if Miami didn't tighten up? No, we wouldn't have.
No, they
I
played.
did.
They
I
played
took one. I
second half.
took one for the team. I'm picking a losing side, but my turning point was my D-back.
All right, you want to go back to last week's predictions for playoff weekend in the NFL?
Sure. Yes, let's do it.
Nick Saban said, I learned one thing in the NFL. When you play against Dan Marino, breaking on the ball is overrated.
He said that last night. I love that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And Dan being in our studio with us, and
and he was there hanging around last night.
How could he not be? He's
One.
Miami. He is Miami. Yeah, it's great.
All right, Jay, Dave, we all picked New England. That seemed to be easy.
And it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been that easy.
C.J. Stroud also picked New England.
Yeah.
It
shouldn't have been that easy.
The way the Texans played here, and then they go up, they couldn't deal with the weather. It wasn't just the cold. It was this wet snow, and they 5 turnovers. They looked terrible.
It's just their quarterback made them look terrible.
They played the same way in Pittsburgh. Stroud was terrible in Pittsburgh.
That's the thing. We couldn't take advantage. The Steelers couldn't take advantage of what he gave us, right? New England kind of did, and he kept handing it to him. You almost feel for the player, like he had no jam in his game at all. So,
no, he didn't. He's getting a lot of criticism, including from. Who was it? Troy Aikman. And they're criticizing Troy Aikman for criticizing him.
Well, I saw today they said that he's there's a story, but he's still learning the offense. It's year, what, three, 4? How are you?
Well, I think Troy Aikman's line was really good about he's trying to capture what he did in year 1.
Yeah.
I didn't think I don't know why, unless he said something else that I didn't hear.
I think he is trying to capture what
I think what happened was Ryan Clark was defending him at halftime. And then defending the quarterback.
Right.
And then everybody's going, well, you don't defend Josh Allen or Herbert, but they went after, he goes after them, but he protected C.J. Stroud. Look, I felt you could tell when he threw the one ball up in the air, the one he was getting, it was just a bad, look, that team, that defense, Larry, we all know that's a team that could get to the Super Bowl. I would have made the switch. I'll tell you what I would have done, halftime, I would have went to Mills.
Davis Mills.
I would have went to him.
Well, we'll see what happens next year. We all picked Seattle. Dave's team.
Dominating.
They look really good.
Yeah.
They really look like the team to beat.
They didn't need Darnold because you had questions about the oblique injury, which popped up.
You've been harsh on Darnold all year, Dan. You really have been. Give him a little
What did
credit.
he do for Minnesota?
He lost the games they needed him to win at the end of the season and in the
If
playoffs.
no, listen, we know Dave's CFO, but listen, I agree, but give him, everybody wants to paint him in the corner like just manage the game.
He was 12 of 17 for 124.
Oh, fine, that's no problem.
managed
He didn't
the
have to do it, but he returned a
I know.
kickoff right off the bat. They didn't have to do
defense is
anything
good
else.
enough. That's what they need him to do, is manage the game and not lose the game.
So they lost their running back. Charbonnet's, that's one of their duo. But Walker, I've always thought Walker's.
Yeah, he's healthy now, which is key.
Yeah. So they were dominating. Dave, maybe we'll see. But Dave could be right. You're going to be right one of these weeks. You hope it's just not this
Bring
week.
me one of these weeks. I had more correct picks than you did this week.
I'm not talking about your game pick. Who did you have different than us the rest of the way? I lost the next two, but who'd you get right? Oh, you took the Rams. Oh, fuck. Jeez. Right. You want to take that. That could have gone any which way. By the way,
We all
You
We'll
did.
get there.
we all took the Broncos. So far we're 100%,
Right.
which is kind of amazing.
Here's the separation.
And then
No, we all took the Bills. I took.
I took the Bills. Did we have the Bills?
Don't be cheating, Larry. You took the Bills too.
Broncos are Bills. They're all B's. I wrote 3 B's.
So Larry never did this when it was 20 degrees outside. Larry would tell us it's 20, but he made it sound like it was really 50. You did a good job making us all feel comfortable when the weather was being determined.
Well,
So we all had the Bills. We all had the Bills.
instead of putting a D, I put Broncos, Bills. It's all the same. We got them all right.
Good.
Or not. And then Rams, you and I picked the Rams.
Yeah.
That game
Yeah,
ended
that's the
up,
one that cost me.
yeah.
I took Chicago. I said home dog, but I was getting 4 points. I still took that. Took the Bears. And I thought, that's all I cared. I looked in and go, Larry and Dave would be ahead of me.
You did
but
say you didn't like the home dog. You said you didn't like the fact that they're a home dog.
I did say that.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
And they could have won. And yeah. And by the way, I still think that he goes for 2 point. He goes for the 4th down conversions all the time. And I'm not saying he should have went for 2 at the goal line when they got the touchdown, but because they weren't getting the push that they needed. But you go for it the whole time, and I've said it's going to cost you. There's nothing wrong with kicking a field goal or punting a ball.
3 times
yeah.
in field goal territory,
So-
they went for it and did not convert. That's
So
not.
I just don't. I get it, analytics, but I've said before, you got to be able to at least feel the game.
Did you see Caleb Williams was at the Blackhawks game
I heard that. Yeah,
the next night wearing a Blackhawks jersey, and he got some booze.
he got booed. I heard that. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, that's
I mean,
come on.
they wouldn't have even been there if it wasn't
Yeah,
for.
he
Right.
was-
And
Yeah, he
how
was
about the
good.
pass on 4th down to the end zone to get him into overtime?
Totally. Yeah, that was unbelievable. I don't know what the D-back was doing back. I'm not sure what happened to the D-back.
He was out to lunch.
It wasn't that bad of a push. Wasn't that big.
If that's the regular season in the second quarter of a random game, that's a penalty.
Oh, freaking! They should have called it then more there. I didn't think it was that much of a. I didn't think it was that big of a push up there. I didn't think it was, but it could be. I didn't. Maybe I was. Hey, I did pick the Bears. That's why.
Yeah. You're
So-
the other way.
So with that, I think Caleb Williams, the run he made, the scramble and run for like 15 yards, he did everything. The little move he made on the linebacker first, like left, right, then went left, and then he switched hands. Like that was That's a different. You talk about a quarterback that can use his legs and do something. That run alone. Do you remember the scramble late in the game?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
to
yeah.
me, the moves he made on that one too, Larry, to go along with the throw you talked about. Yeah, he's got an arm too. He's got a cannon of an arm and his running ability. But what he showed me on that run was different than just scrambling the outside, sprinting to the sideline. It was an amazing run. He was really good.
What he did at the end of the season, that run, looking at it next year, he might be the top quarterback in the NFC. I don't know who else.
I don't know how. And I'm wondering, like the Bears, are they going to be able to match? Think about how many games Green Bay gave them the one game. They didn't recover the onside kick and lost. There were a lot of games, but they had the mettle to
But if they
do
can
it.
clean up some things that they did do, they won't have to be in a
You're right.
position every
You're right.
time to come back.
Yep.
But they got a quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah,
At
they
Dave's
do.
point, yeah, you're right.
But
He was good.
Cinderella,
Yeah,
it turned into a pumpkin for Chicago.
Yep.
So we did pretty good overall. B for Bronco, B for Bills. You all remember what you picked.
yeah. What was the last one? Didn't we miss one? Did we?
No, we got them all.
Did we get them all? It's all a blur.
All
We're
Seattle,
2-2.
all New
I
England.
know. I was doing two.
We're 3-1.
I know. All right, so let's carry it into this week.
All right. Is there,
No, yeah.
since we're out of football season for Pittsburgh, is there a original Yinzer Dog player of the weekend? Could be any
Could be anybody. Doesn't have to even
play.
be a player. Could be anything that you like what you saw.
any sport,
Yeah,
anything
any
you've
sport.
seen.
We're good
with-
because we're going to go that way, and then we're going to get into hockey season when we're going to really get digging deeper into hockey. But it can be any sport and if you have Pittsburgh ties, that's even better. But But by the way, Larry, what do they get now that we might have? What's in the Yinzer
I'm
Dog?
so glad you asked that question. Just like Aaron Rodgers received, hand delivered by the big man, a Yinzer pack. This is the original Yinzer Dog, Stanley P. Kachowski, Koboski, Babushka Mama Pierogies, and Yinzer Halushki in a smart container that is a portable tailgate party in and of itself.
That's
Here's,
awesome.
here's my request. 1 week, can we get Jay to say that? And try to get all those
No, I haven't
parts
even-
right.
I'll
I
write
just
that
heard
down.
you do that, Larry, and I said, "There's no." I'm glad I'm not that way.
Just once.
Just one time.
All right.
Very good, Larry.
Offsets, original Yinzer Dog of the week. Who would you pick?
Hey, I'm going to go to Kurt Cignetti.
Yep.
I'm going to pick. Did you do that? Yeah. There you go. And he's local, so wait till he sees what he's going to receive.
You're gonna
I'll hand
wipe
deliver
that
that
scowl off his face.
one. I'll bring him a few beers too, though. He said he wanted to have a beer.
Well, you know, Monday night he said in the post game, after he did his whole dissertation, he goes, I'm getting a beer.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
Which
good. Very happy for him.
I can't wait to the beer company that signs him to
I
an
know.
endorsement deal.
He's all. I agree with Cignetti. You look at once he became a head coach, IUP to Elon to James Madison to Indiana, never had a losing season, just like Mike Tomlin. And then his 2 years at Indiana, 11-2, then 16-0. What he did was remarkable.
No matter what he does from here in Indiana, and they have a huge alumni base. Think about years and years and years of losing
Yeah.
and being one of the worst teams in college football. Technically, that's not an opinion. I mean, I'm happy they won, but he's good
Yeah.
forever.
How about this? And just to add to his lore, if you will, Miami, he beat 4 teams that had close to 50 4- and 5-star recruits. 50. Miami, I think, had 40-something. Indiana has 8, and none of them, no 5-star recruits. And he won. That's, first of all, to me, it's an amazing, the way the game is going and how you're bringing in talent and with the NIL deals, 8 guys and not one 5-star recruit. That's pretty good. That's even telling you he has a better staff than everybody else does. He knows who to bring in.
There'll be a movie about him like Gene Hackman starred in Hoosiers for basketball.
Hoosiers too.
There'll be, Hoosiers. Who would play Kurt Cignetti? That could be a bonus question.
That'd be a bonus question.
Wow, I got to think about that one.
Yeah, that's what
All
I
right,
think about
but-
that too.
Kurt, congratulations, Coach. Even bigger than that trophy, you're going to get the original Yinzer Dog tailgate pack as a parting gift from us.
That's it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a great.
All right, it's time for the Blindside segment and offset. Dave, explain
Yes.
what that means.
The blind side is, Jay gets sour quite a few times over the weekend watching games. That's why the big man blitz. And then he also wanted the blind side because he disagrees with a lot of the calls he sees from the men and women wearing stripes. Therefore, it's one of the calls that stands out
Right.
from the weekend.
And it's usually when it goes against you, if you're whatever way you're betting or wagering, whatever it might be.
Which is why
or
we just
against your
agreed
team.
on Nicole Komet
Right,
push-off.
right. That's right. That's right. So listen, mine's. I'm going to go back to the Buffalo Bills game in Denver. The catch, all that went with the catch, whatever. The lack of pass interference call when he throws the deep ball, and he should have been first and goal at the 1, Buffalo. He grabbed his arm. Let alone he's never looking at the ball and he just grabs his arm. I don't know how you don't make that call. I don't know. To me, the game, and they want to go back to the catch play, the play that was not the catch and then it was an interception, all that. It shouldn't have even got there. That Buffalo should have been at the 1-yard line, a chance to win the game. And I don't know how you don't make the call. Then you make 2 calls the other way.
On moonball.
50-some yards of penalties against the Bills. To me, brutal. I can't believe that call for me, and I'm surprised they don't talk enough. It wasn't talked as much about. I just found that to be the one for me.
Because of the interception, it kind of overshadowed.
Yeah, they overtook it.
Either it is or it isn't.
Oh, I know.
He grabbed his arm, and he wasn't looking at the ball.
Yeah, it was, to me, I don't know how you don't make that call. And they're calling again. They're literally. I just don't know. If I'm a Bills fan, that's the one that would sour me. Then it leads to the next one to be sour. Then the pass interference calls. Even though the one, they could have been calls. But if you didn't call this one, there's no way you call the other ones against. That's
just like you always said, be consistent.
Yeah, Larry. That's it. So
what's your call, Dave?
So what I was saying with the Bills game, I agree with the interception. I think that's the right call. Because if he goes to the ground and then hits the ground and the ball comes loose, it's incomplete. And all that happened was the defensive back took the ball away from him. So I agree.
Shouldn't he been down though?
No, you have to finish the catch. You have to finish the catch. If there's no contact there and he goes to the ground and
wait a minute, in the other game,
Devontae Adams did the same thing. Yeah.
And they
Devontae Adams was Adams, right? He was fighting to get to. It's the same as the Aaron Rodgers, the interception against the Ravens. He was still, and I disagree with that one, but he had the ball and he was fighting to the ground. That, Cooks had to go to the ground. I still think if
so he's down by contact. Here's the problem, which I know what you're saying because I feel it both ways. But as soon as his knee hits the ground and he's touched by the other player, he's down by contact. It can't change hands.
You got to finish the catch.
But then it still can't go to the other team. He should at least be down. It should have been he's down. That's what I don't get. This is where they've got a huge gray area with this. Because right, if he's not being touched, he's got the ball, his knee is on the ground, and it happened real quick. Right? Happened real quick. But if I'm being touched by you and my knee's on the ground, I'm down. That's it.
Just like Aaron Rodgers at Baltimore.
And Devontae Adams the same. And I know it's a little bit different. So, but even with that, now, David, you can finish your point. I'm just giving you because I go back and forth on it all the time. Why did they not take I mean, I think they had a real beat that they didn't really look at it. It was so quick. The turnaround. I don't think it deserved to be that quick of a turnaround, but that's what I think. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Like if I catch the ball and I have control, my 2 hands are on it, and my knee hits the ground while I'm being touched by the opposition, that's it. Play's done. If they're going to give it one way or another.
Still got to finish the catch, and I will continue.
So what is finishing the catch though? Now, when you're on the ground, how am I supposed to finish your? I mean, I know but when there's contact with another player trying to rip it out of my hands, it changes that.
Not trying to rip it. He never had control of the ball. That's what I'm saying. As soon as he hit the ground, the ball came loose. That's my point is if there's no defensive back in a picture, he makes the same play, he goes down, and the ball comes out, it's incomplete.
Right.
It's the same. I
think so.
But
they could have looked
my
at a little.
blind side is the fact it's the lack of explanation.
Perfect.
A play that big to say that we reviewed it by the replay officials and now they're saying there's like a line of replay officials there that are doing it. Like we need some more context there. We need the head referee to come out and say exactly what they looked at, why they made the call, and you didn't have that in a weekend. That's my blind side.
You got in a playoff game, you guys know they have multiple cameras too. Just take a look.
Yeah.
And that was Sean McDermott's beef. He
had a legitimate beef. I can't imagine.
You review sideline catches and whether he's in or out of bounds or stepped. Just take a minute. This is a crucial part of the game.
Yeah,
it probably wins it for the Bills.
Yeah.
So, and then he gets fired. Sean McDermott.
That was. He probably knew it. He probably knew.
He talked about the officials, so he got whacked. Did you have one?
That was it. It
Yeah,
was
he's
just
the
the lack
Same.
of explanation on the interception.
It's a good.
All right.
it's a
What
good
about
game.
bad beats? Explain what that is, David.
Yeah, Dave.
The bad beat is if you maybe have a wager on a game, whatever sport it might be, and it looks like you're going to win that wager, and all of a sudden something happens and it goes sideways, you end up losing it. That is considered a bad beat.
It'd be great if we had film to show people. But one, I could almost go right back to the Buffalo game, right? Denver's -1.5, and if they give them that ball again, it's one to win against me. So if they give me that ball at the 1 yard line, and I cash in, game over. And if you had Buffalo, you're on the right side of it. I'll also go the Seattle game. The over-under was 45.5. And Kenny Walker was just killing people who bet the under. He killed them. So that was my two bad beats. The Seattle game, Kenny Walker put it over. And I think that play at the goal line, Dave, adds a little extra irritation to people who had Buffalo.
I'll follow up on your Seahawks. The total closed at 44.5.
Oh, did it go? Yeah.
The teams combined for 527 yards of offense, 234 yards of passing. There's only one touchdown from special teams. There's no way there should have been 47 point scores. So I understand that. Mine was, and again, it's maybe not a bad beat, but just if you had the Rams were a 3.5 point favorite. As Jay mentioned, he had the Bears.
I had a better line than I got it at 4. Yeah.
Didn't matter. So I'll say if Caleb Williams, that 4th and 4 play where he runs back to the 50 and throws it up, Cole Kmet pushes off. Anyhow, that's so if you're a Rams bettor, if that's an incomplete pass, you win. Then it gets to overtime, and you're thinking, okay, Rams get the ball first. They have to score a touchdown. You still have an option, still have an opportunity. They don't. They get the interception from Williams. Then they drive down. This is what got me. They drive down to field goal territory. And instead of just running the ball and being content because the field goal ends it, they take 2 shots at the end zone. You had to have been sweating that. Why would you take 2 shots? Stafford couldn't throw a complete pass the entire game. And you're taking shots at the end zone? One of those is complete. They cover again. They kick a field goal. They don't cover.
There's a little angst there, too, was it not, Larry? There's a little bit of his voice rose a little bit with that.
I saw that. You could sense it.
Fear. We wanted to slide it a little bit away.
All right. Penguins had a nice win on the holiday Monday out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
We'll see how they do with this trip. And coming up in the next episode, you'll hear from Pierre McGuire about that and more.
Yep.
In the meantime, want to thank you and Dave Ricchini. Great job, Dave. Love the hat. Little Laurel Valley touch.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, Dave. Did a great job today on computer, too. You pulled some things up that was very nice for us.
Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
And we want to thank Brian Hess, One Team Media, and Mark Connington, who's producing this episode. We also want to thank from Odyssey Pittsburgh and our 5 radio stations, including KDK, Michael Spacciapoli.
Also, Dave Rourke and Rourke Automotive Group, lifetime state inspections, lifetime oil change, engine warranties. Thanks for, again, being a title sponsor, and also Henderson Brothers, Tom Grillish. We really do appreciate both of you being a part of what we're doing here. So thank you very much.
And we're going to tell you about Curtain Call. This is the 50th anniversary of the Steelers' Super Bowl X win, and they've got a lot of the guys gathered. Mean Joe Green, Jack Ham, John Kolb, and Rocky Bleier, who will be our featured guest later in the week. And that's happening this Saturday at Stage AE. If you want more information or to meet and greet with a VIP opportunity, check it out, Curtain Call. That said, that's this edition of Offset. Larry and the Big Man, Dave Ricchini. That's a wrap.